Hey, listen, if you are exhausted and tired of bills, if you are struggling with debt, if you can't even save anything, put anything in the bank for later because debt has got you handcuffed, there's no way out. I've got some great news for you. Listen, we're about ready to jump into a little session where we talk about debt-free life. What is debt-free life? Well, you're going to want to get in and check this seminar out. But I'll tell you really quickly, debt-free life is a concept. It's an industry disruptor that we've developed that will allow you to get out of debt within a fraction of the time without paying one more penny than what you're paying right now. Now, less than half of the people qualify for this. And no, this is not loan consolidation. This is not any kind of refinancing anything. This is you taking control of your debt, taking control of your money so you can have a better future, that you can build more wealth, and that you can perform and act like the 1%. So we've adopted a lot of different elements to how the wealthy continue to make money. So come on, jump in, join us. All right, how are we doing? I want to thank everyone for joining us today to this topic called debt-free life. And I know that there's a good chance if you're here right now watching this, you're like thousands and thousands of other Americans who are just struggling. I mean, you've got a good job, but inflation is high and groceries are high and, different things happen. And now we're in debt and it seems like the money that we're making is going out to pay the bills. And I just don't know what to do. Well, if that is the case, you are in the right place. And so I want to invite you just to hang tight with us for a couple of minutes because I want to explain something to you that will no doubt change your life. So first of all, I want to introduce myself. My name is Scott McDonald. I'm the CEO and founder of MacDonald Financial Solutions, and we are very proud to be associated with, in my opinion, the best IMO in the United States, Agents First. I am Vice President of Advanced Markets with Agents First, as well as I've been doing the financial strategist and wealth building consultant role for many, many, many years now. And we have currently over 60 licensed agents ready and willing and able to help you get out of the situation that you're in. And so just wanted to give you that very quick introduction. And now as we continue on, I want to spend just a quick moment talking about something very, very important. Industry disruptors. And what do I mean by that? What is an industry disruptor? And in my opinion, an industry disruptor, something that changes the status quo, that improves a situation that no one necessarily thought needed improvement. Well, what am I talking about, for example? Well, how many of us have heard of Netflix, right? We all have Netflix. Everyone that I know of has a Netflix subscription. Remember, if you're my age or maybe a little older, maybe a little younger, I'm not really sure. Do you remember the company Blockbuster? Do you remember every Friday racing home from work to grab the newest video that just came out and they didn't have any of them on the shelves because people got to them, and you finally found one that was in the return bin that the cashier let you have, and then you get home and you put it in and it wasn't rewound, so now you got to sit back and you got to wait for 4 minutes for the thing to rewind. The popcorn is getting cold. No one thought that was an issue. No one realized that it was inconvenient until Netflix came in and disrupted the entire industry. Blockbuster is no more. Or how about this little fruit company? How about Apple? They literally changed the music industry and the technology industry. The things that they did changed the status quo. They started streaming music, literally changed the way licensing was done. You know, I'm not sure I even thought that we had an issue with public transportation, taxi services. And all of a sudden, a company called Uber comes in and just redefines something by bringing something a little unique, changes the industry that we have. Or we'll go with the smallest out of the four here, Amazon, right? I mean, do you remember where they started? Actually, they started as a book company. Not only did Amazon change the retail shopping industry, but they also adapted from just doing books to being what they are today. Industry disruptors. What do I mean by an industry disruptor? Why do I say industry disruptors? What am I putting, what am I trying to say here? What message is coming across? Why am I saying this? Because we have folks, an industry disruptor, when it comes to banking and when it comes to getting you, the American family, out of debt and back in control of your wealth. And our product is called Debt-Free Life. And I want to talk to you about what Debt-Free Life is. Debt-Free Life, first of all, is not a loan consolidation program. Not at all. In fact, this is 100% on you, and frankly, only about a third of those that are interested in this actually qualify. Because as you may or may not realize, debt is not a numbers thing. Debt is not a math problem. Debt is a behavioral problem. And so with this, we give you the tools using cutting edge technology? Not really, but using principles that the wealthy have been using for years and years and years. And now we, just like Uber, just like Apple, just like Netflix, like Amazon, we are bringing this to you. And so I want to talk about the two pieces to this. First of all, I'm not sure whether people have ever heard of, when it comes to getting out of debt, the debt snowball. But just in case you haven't, I'm going to kind of go over this with you just to make sure we're understanding. This is, I guess, kind of chart. The average American family is over $90,000 in debt. Well, let's take a look at this debt here. They have 2 credit cards. They're paying $100 a month on this, $200 a month on credit card B, $500 a month on the car payment. They're also paying $500 a month on student loans, or $590 on student loans, truck payment of $700, a house payment of $2,000. And so how the debt snowball works is we stack rank the lowest debt to the highest debt. We pay the minimum payments on everything, and then anything left over, we throw it on the first debt. And then once that is paid off, we don't stop. We take that $100 that we were paying to credit card A, and now we're going to put it over to credit card B. So instead of paying $200, we're going to add the $100 and now pay $300. And then we're going to make the payments on everything else. And then once this is now paid off, because we have an extra $100 going towards it, after that $300 now is paid off, we're going to move that $300 over to the $500. So instead of just paying $500 now, we're paying $800 on the car. and we're getting momentum. We're building momentum. And now, once the car is paid off, that $800 we're putting on the student loan of $590, and now we're throwing $1,390 a month at that. Once that's paid off, if you look, then we have all of this goes to the truck payment and then the house payment. Now we have $2,090. The truck's paid off. Now we get that done, and it's the house. So now we literally have $4,090 a month we're throwing at the house because that was our total debt. $4,090 now that you have, once you're out of debt, ready to work for you. Okay? That's the debt snowball. Well, how does debt-free life use the debt snowball? Well, it actually uses a couple of different factors. It could use the debt snowball. We also have, and I don't have a really cool graph, the debt avalanche. And the debt avalanche is basically the highest interest rate first, all the way down to the lowest interest rate. You know, at the end of the day, it really comes out to about the same. But the program that we have with Debt-Free Life, it actually looks at your interest rates. It looks at the principal of the debt and all of those things and determines what is the best way to pay these things off. The other piece that we do is we don't just have you utilize your money to do this. See, because the wealthy have realized that they don't use their money to pay bills. They use their money to make money. And then that money that they've made from their money is what they use to pay their bills. And so we use the debt snowball or debt avalanche in conjunction with a concept called infinite banking. And the infinite banking concept is just very simply this: at a 30,000 foot view, it is a participating whole life insurance policy that you use to gain compound interest and then actually borrow from the policy at a lesser interest. And so therefore you are making what they call arbitrage or spread in the banking industry. That's how banks work. You give them your check, they pay you 0.1%. They take that money, they deposit 10% of their reserves, and then they loan out the other 90% to someone at 12, 13, 15% for a car loan or whatever the case is for a mortgage. In fact, the bank, over a 30-year period, the bank makes over 5,000% on every dollar that you deposit. So the infinite bank concept is when we have our participating whole life policy and we put money into that policy that's going to earn us a dividend every year. Now, depending on the company, depending on the year, you could be talking anywhere from 6, 7% up to 12, 14%. Normally speaking, with the companies we use, depending on how we set it up, most likely is going to yield you between 8 and 12% every single year. Then what happens is when you put your money in there and it's building that compound interest, we also use a concept called non-direct loan recognition. And what that means is, let's say I have $100,000 in this policy of mine. I can take 50,000 out, but I don't actually remove the 50,000. I take a loan from myself for 50,000. Therefore, I'm still getting all of my money, my 100,000. I'm still getting 10%, let's assume, dividend every year. And then I'm paying, let's say, 5% for the loan. So that means that I've got a spread on that 50,000 of 5%. I'm making money instead of just paying the money to the vendor, to the credit card company, to the mortgage company, and then never being able to make money ever again from that dollar. See, the concept is that every dollar you put into your infinite bank every year is going to reward you with compound interest for the rest of your life. That's kind of a cool concept. See, the thing is, it's not brand new. The wealthy have been using this strategy for years and years and years. And so debt-free life takes the debt snowball or debt avalanche and couples it with infinite banking concept. And I'm going to show you how this works. I've got a client, and his name is Iman. I'm in debt. It's a very coincidental name, especially for what we're talking about today, but I want to show you how his setup, how we're able to help him by taking the way he was paying for his bills and paying off his debt, and we are not charging him one dime more than what he is paying today. I'm going to show you this industry disruptor called debt-free life. The concept here, at a snapshot, we're going to dig into this. Currently, it is going to take Iman 27 years and 4 months to get out of debt by paying off how he is paying off his bills. And by the way, you're going to see he's paying a lot extra every single month. If he reallocates inefficient money and puts it into his infinite bank, he is going to get out of debt within 25% of the time. 7 years, 5 months, saving $316,000 worth of interest. How in the world does that work? Well, here it is. We identify the inefficient payment strategies. We're going to do the debt snowball. We're going to make minimum payments to every debt that's out there except the first one. When we have enough in the policy to pay that off, we will take that and pay that off. And then, just like in the debt snowball, that first $100 for credit card A, now we match that with credit card B for $200. We're going to add that to our bank, and we're going to continue to pay our bank instead of the credit card. Okay? And we're going to continue that until it's done. Now, let's look here. This is his current plan. He has a MasterCard and he has a Visa. This is his minimum monthly payments and his current payments. He tries to throw a couple $100 here and there. He has a HELOC where he throws an extra $100. He has student loans and a mortgage. Okay? Now, it would take him 27 years and 4 months to be able to pay all this off. And here's all the data here. But if you look now, with our plan, he is going to be able to pay off that entire amount in 25% of the time. We're going to start with the MasterCard. And basically, he's going to make minimum payments on everything. And we are going to take the total amount, which was $3,600 that he was overpaying to his creditors, and we are going to put it into his infinite bank. And in 4 months, he is going to have enough to take out of his policy and pay this off. And then the amount that he was paying for this credit card, now he's going to add that payment back to the bank. So he's going to continue to make that. And it's going to repeat until you can see here, there is a check written for that house, October 1st, 2032. And he's able to pay this off 7 years, 5 months. He would have paid off $302,000, saved $316,000. But that's not all. And this is one of the other things that I just love when my clients see this. Not only is Iman going to be out of debt in 7.5 years, but if he continues this concept and just continues to feed his bank, instead of putting it in his own bank, instead of just paying bills with his money, guess what happens? Now, in 20 years, this gentleman's going to have almost $2 million in assets, cash, in his bank. In 30 years, he'd have 3.7 million. In 40 years, over $6 million. Folks, this is what I call an industry disruptor. If you want to see how you personally could benefit from this, if you want to see your name right here and say, show me how I can get out of debt without paying one more penny than I'm currently paying today, I want you to get a hold of us and let's walk down the road of changing your life, your financial future, your legacy for your children and grandchildren and for your family. Thank you very much for your time. Hope you folks have a fantastic day.